Just days after signing a landmark peace agreement with Iran, the United States President Donald Trump is pushing back against. Against whom? Against the critics who say that the conflict exposed the limits of American power. And Trump's response? There are no limits, unquote. Speaking in an interview after U.S. and Iran formally approved a memorandum of understanding aimed at ending months of hostilities, Trump argued that the conflict demonstrated America's strength, not its weaknesses. Now I'll tell you why. The agreement signed by Trump and Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian immediately halted all of the hostilities and reopened a strategic vital Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important energy routes, we all know by now. But the debate over what America actually achieved is only beginning. Before the conflict, Washington had demanded a sweeping concession from Tehran. And yes, U.S. officials wanted Iran to sharply restrict uranium enrichment at any cost, transfer enriched uranium stockpiles to abroad, and then roll back the key elements to its nuclear program. However, the final agreement looks very different that has been signed. Under this deal, Iran retains the right to continue uranium enrichment under agreed conditions, while the future discussions on stockpiles and nuclear activities will still continue the negotiations. Critics argue that it falls short of Washington's original objectives. So is Trump actually failing? Well, Trump disagrees. He insists that states achieved a military victory and even suggested that the agreement itself sounds a form of a surrender by Iran. And according to Trump, American military pressure forced Tehran to negotiate table. The president also demanded his decisions not to prolong the conflict. And Trump? He warned that extending military operations for several more weeks now could trigger a severe consequence for both economies and the global economy as well. He argued that continuing fights would now have shut down the Strait of Hormuz, disrupted global oil supplies, as well as potentially pushing towards a world of economic crisis. Now, the calculations may explain why both sides ultimately choose diplomacy over escalation. And that agreement? Now, it has included a phase of relief sanctions, sanction reliefs, discussions on economic cooperation, as well as a roadmap of future nuclear negotiations. Well, for supporters, it represents that a practical step towards stability. But for critics, it raises questions whether the military pressure achieved the intent of the goals or not. What is clear is that both Washington and Tehran are now claiming the success. U.S. and Iran, both. And that may be the most revealing part of the agreement, because in international diplomacy, the true measures of victory is often not the leaders, what they say, by the way, but after a deal is signed, well, it is actually what happens once the negotiations begin.